also to get to know myself as a person. Freshman year finally hit, and I remember walking into the building like any other freshman, not knowing what to expect. I was afraid, nauseous, and I didn't want to be here. When I walked into the building, I was afraid of everyone in there. I thought these people were nuts. Little did I know I was going to be spending the next 4 years with them. I barely remember freshman year, but what I do remember is all of my advisories sitting around the table awkwardly staring at each other, not knowing what to say next. Time flew by before we even knew it. Internship time was around the corner, and like in any ordinary internship that a freshman takes on, I decided to go back to elementary school. I was there for about half a year and worked with fourth graders. Although it was a great experience, I discovered that I didn't want to be a teacher. Freshman year ended in a blink of an eye, and next thing you know, we were already into sophomore year. The only thing I had in my mind was to walk through those gates, and just like I had set my mind to, I sure did. That year I had interned at 2 different places. At the beginning of the year, I was at the Women's Resource Center, where I worked with the Director of Youth Violence Prevention. I had to take the bus every single Tuesday and Thursday all the way down to Newport. While I was there, we worked together to perfect an after-school program that a student auditor started, SADA, Students Against Domestic Abuse. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I stayed in Newport till about 5 p.m. to work with my mentor. In the end, we organized an event to raise awareness on youth violence. Although I wasn't able to attend, I heard it was a success. That same year, I ended up at Brown University, where I worked with the head of EMT services. I was there for about 2 weeks, and while I was there, I became CPR certified. And did I mention, during that year, all the sophomores went to D.C. Must I say, it might have been the best trip. From David Gray saying that I had horse hair, to Sam almost crying because we took his secret box. And on one of those nights, that's how poor old Angie ended up with frozen milk in her hair. The boys were trying to act cute and scared the life out of us. Of course, we had to come back with revenge. During that summer, I was sent to Minnesota for 3 weeks to canoe, backpack, and rock climb. Seeing as though we didn't have any showers at all on that trip, I decided to go for a nice dip in the lake. It felt so nice to get in some water after weeks. As I was walking out, I remember Sarah, one of my mentors, telling me to remain calm, to keep in mind that I was not in danger. Of course, the only thing that came to my head was death. Next thing you know, I was so close to getting a huge leech burned off my leg because the little sucker didn't want to come off. But thank God, after hours of pulling and pulling, the little monster gave in. Along came junior year. The only thing that kept me going that year was my trip to South Africa. That year almost felt endless, but before I even knew it, I was on an 18-hour flight to South Africa for 3 weeks. That summer, I traveled halfway across the world to work at an orphanage where I met some of the best people in my life. I also got the opportunity to learn one of the official languages of South Africa, Xhosa. And even though I only walked away with maybe 3 words, it got me through my whole trip, and I was able to communicate with my kids at the orphanage. When I came back, we were already heading into